Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Natalia Moczulska and this is the news. Ukrainian armed forces were set to attack border posts in the Bryansk region. This is another section of the Russian border after the Kursk region that the Ukrainian military is advancing on. According to analysts, it is difficult to predict Ukraine's next steps, especially since the surprise offensive actually began just before the end of the summer. These are supposed to be reconnaissance raids for now, but tying up Russian forces and creating chaos in command communications. Russian social media feeds are in one big panic. Conflicting messages, nervousness, and increasing rage at the Russian government. The front line consists of our positions, first of all in the Pokrovsky direction, in our Donetsk region. We understand the enemy's movements and are strengthening our defenses. A review of ammunition supplies has been carried out. It is very important that our partners fully fulfill their commitments on every financial package and all our contracts. Despite the successes in the northwest, there is still a difficult situation in the Donbass, where Russian forces are slowly but surely advancing. One of Kyiv's goals was certainly to pull reserves from the Donbass near Kursk, which would have slowed the Russian offensive in the east. Well, the Russians have to pull reserves from somewhere to stop the Ukrainians in the Kursk area. On the other hand, it is also to show the Russians that propaganda is out of touch with reality. Ukraine is asking its allies for supplies of ammunition because it is shrinking very fast. Any maneuvering of heavy equipment will be possible for another month, 2 at the most. After that, the front will be frozen by the weather for weeks. Today's actions by the Ukrainian side are aimed at stabilization in those areas they have managed to capture, and the extension to the northwest to the same river. The element that makes this possible is Ukrainian advantage in the area, something that has not been seen basically since the beginning of this full-scale war.
Ukraine has established localized air dominance in this area. They've been able to carry out air...
Kyiv's offensive surprised not only Russia, but also the West. Chancellor Olaf Scholz spoke on the matter, stressing that Ukraine did not consult with anyone about its actions. First of all, Ukraine prepared its military operation in the Kursk region very secretly and without feedback, which is certainly due to the difficult situation. We are following very closely what is happening there. It is a very limited operation spatially and probably also in terms of time. Nervousness in Germany is caused by the news of the use of German military equipment in the offensive in Russian territory, which according to some German politicians should result in a funding cut for Ukraine. Russia is pushing Germany to open a dialogue on the issue of the Nord Stream gas pipeline that has exploded. In turn, India may also join the mediation game. India's Prime Minister has already met with Polish authorities in Warsaw and is currently on his way to Kiev. We support dialogue and diplomacy for the speedy restoration of peace and stability. For this purpose, India stands ready to provide all possible support, along with its friendly countries. The Indian leader came under criticism a month ago when he visited Moscow. He hugged Putin and called him his friend. That same day, the Russians bombed a children's hospital in Kiev. Kamil Trzaska, TV Republika. It flew 60 kilometers in Polish airspace and, unnoticed by anyone, fell in a forest near Olsztyn. It probably involved a weather balloon, according to the Polish Minister of National Defense, Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz. He is downplaying the matter and claims there is no cause for alarm, despite the fact that such balloons are often used for spying activities, and the object had inscriptions in the Russian language.
A mysterious object with Russian writing fell in the village of Orzechowo near Olsztyn. First we heard a signal. You know, everyone reacts to a signal that something is happening in the village. The police are investigating the case. It was found by forest guards around Orzechowo near Dobre Miasto. No one saw the object fall, so it's not quite fair to say that something fell, that it was a balloon. What we are dealing with will probably become clear soon. National Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz downplays the matter. He says it is most likely a weather balloon.
Rosyjski?
Is it Russian, or is it not yet known?
Nie chcę wybiegać.
I don't want to be too hasty, because everything has to be investigated. These situations happen because of strong gusts of wind, so there is always a need for verification. Before the fall, the object entered Polish airspace and flew about 60 kilometers without being noticed by anyone. Do you feel safe after what happened here?
To znaczy, wie pan, nie do końca.
You know, not really, because we don't know exactly what it was and how it got over the border in the first place, because we supposedly have guarded borders. Russians are Russians. They'll stoop to anything. As a reminder, last May, after the remains of a Russian missile were found near Bydgoszcz, civic coalition politicians outdid themselves in attacking the United Right government.
Miasto wielkości Bydgoszczy.
A city the size of Bydgoszcz would be wiped off the map of the world if, for example, such a missile hit Bydgoszcz.
Nie może być zgody na to, że w Polsce.
It can't be that a Russian missile just falls on Polish territory without incident.
W jakimkolwiek miejscu terytorium Polski.
The rocket may have been carrying nuclear weapons. It could have been a nuclear attack. This one piece of information should blow up the entire government. Today, it is obvious that these attacks were a cynical attempt to manipulate the emotions of the Polish public. We can see that this was a direct attack on the United Right, and on the other hand, an attempt to create panic among the public, to disrupt the security of the polls, so that they would go to the polls and vote for the civic coalition. Meanwhile, since the coalition took power on December 13th, Polish airspace has been repeatedly violated with total impunity. In March alone, 3 weather balloons were found in Mazovia. At the time, it was suspected that they were spy devices, while the authorities played down the issue. Konrad Wąż, Republika.
Delayed construction of the Vistula Spit crossing, lack of funds, which would allow larger vessels to enter the port. This is how the development of the shipping canal through the Vistula Spit and the port of Elbląg is being stalled under the new government in Poland. The Ministry of State Assets confirms that the installation port in Świnoujście will not be completed by the deadline. The construction and operation of wind farms is moving to the Danish shore. Why isn't the government implementing key investments for the Polish economy?
The port of Elbląg is struggling. The port of Świnoujście is facing delays. It is still unclear what the government's policy on the Vistula Spit will be. Why is the government holding back key investments for the Polish economy? Those in power are preventing the port of Elbląg from being able to develop the capacity to house ships of over 100 meters. They've decided that ships of up to 80 meters are enough for the city, and investments to modernize the wharves are being delayed until 2027. This is all one big diversion because there is simply no money for the investment. The modernization of the wharf has already been delayed, and the completion of the waterway from the Baltic Sea to Elbląg cannot take place until 2028 at the earliest. Then there is the environmental analysis, which will take at least a year. That's more years of delay. We have a civic platform government, which today clearly indicates that Elbląg will not develop primarily on the basis of the Vistula Spit crossing. It will not have free access to the sea. Certainly, the ships that would otherwise go there will not come. Unfortunately, this is the policy of Donald Tusk. There are also delays in the port of Gdynia. Minister Malepszak, in a written answer to an interpellation, directly states construction works on the Red Road section will begin in 2029. In addition, the modernization of the Kraków-Zakopane railway line has come to a standstill. PKP Polish Railway Lines terminated the contract with the developer. This was a key rail investment not only for Lesser Poland, but also for the development of the central communications port. The state is really drifting towards complicating our lives. They are ready to cancel all investments because it is a lot of work. The central communication port is an investment challenge, and an investment challenge requires smart people. And where will they get them? The Polish people see these problems very clearly. According to a survey conducted by the Polster Research Institute on behalf of Super Express, the vast majority of Poles, 62%, believe that Donald Tusk's government is not fulfilling its election promises. The Prime Minister could not respond to the accusations because he was on vacation, another one this year. On Tuesday, he did not attend a meeting of the Council of Ministers, neither did Mikołaj Drożała, the Deputy Climate Minister and Chief Environmentalist, while an ecological disaster was raging on Lake Dzierżno Duże. It's just that those people who are in the government today, a lot of them, they don't implement national investments because it's a lot of work. You know, look at Tusk. He is on vacation for the umpteenth time. The Prime Minister is on vacation. Today he is supposed to come back for a little while. But will the Prime Minister complete the previously planned investments after his vacation? Unfortunately, nothing of the sort will happen, and this is probably a direct instruction to Donald Tusk, first of all from Western countries, that this investment cannot be completed. And this could mean that Donald Tusk will not continue investments in Poland because they would be competition for the West. Edyta Hołdyńska, TV Republika.
The election campaign in the United States is heating up with each passing day. In Chicago, the Democrats are promoting their new candidate, Kamala Harris. And in North Carolina, Donald Trump is promoting his vision of a strong and secure United States. There is also speculation about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s possible withdrawal from the race.
Man is Donald J. Trump. He was the once president of...
This is Donald Trump's first such large meeting with voters in the open since the attempts to assassinate him.
God bless you, North Carolina. Thank you.
At the North Carolina rally, the Secret Service put in place extraordinary security measures, including bulletproof glass.
And all I can do is pledge to you that we're going to do a great job for North Carolina. We're going to do a great job for the United States of America. We put America first, and we're going to make America great again. Thank you all very much.
Donald Trump announced that if he wins the November election, he would like Elon Musk, one of the wealthiest and most influential Americans, in his future administration. Elon Musk responded briefly, "I am willing to serve." And this was in Chicago, where the Democratic convention is underway. Tim Walz officially accepted the nomination as vice presidential candidate.
Thank you to all of you here in Chicago and all of you watching at home tonight. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your determination. And most of all, thank you for bringing the joy.
But even media supportive of the Democrats point out the programmatic emptiness and lack of arguments on the most important issues, security and the economy. Meanwhile, Trump and Vance present their own agenda.
Kamala Harris has failed to deliver peace and national security. Then at the American southern border, it is a disgrace, my friends. I cannot believe how bad it is. But if you want to give her the benefit of the doubt and understand her foreign policy, remember that she bragged on CNN about playing a key role in the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Kamala Harris will speak at the Democratic convention in the evening time. However, she invariably avoids prolonged conversations with reporters and has refused to debate Trump on Fox News television, scheduled for early September. This also shows that she just doesn't want to speak, and the party is trying to guard her from speaking at all. They want to make such a puppet out of her that just has to appear, smile, and say nothing while camouflaging her true intentions. Well, that can't be sustained for long, and it will certainly be reflected in the polls. There may soon be an important change in the U.S. election race. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., so far called the third because he is running as an independent candidate, will most likely officially drop out tomorrow and endorse Donald Trump. The nephew of former President John Kennedy has in the past been associated with the Democrats and sought their nomination. Maximilian Maszenda, TV Republika. That's all for the news tonight. Thank you so much for joining us and have a wonderful evening.